Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As we all know, words have meaning. And not only that, I told you many times that these guys, the mass media, they sometimes reveal the truth in articles that are not really related to subjects where they lie. So, for instance, they have to tell you, hey, you know what, George Foreman was fighting Muhammad Ali. Okay, they were fighting together, and then let's say I'm lying, and I'm saying, well, the thing is, they were kind of equal, the fight was balanced, and in the end, Muhammad Ali maybe, did something good and probably succeeded. All right, that's a weasel way of putting things. We know what happened, right? Muhammad Ali knocked George Foreman down. He was not out, but anyway, he didn't make the count. So what happened here? Let's say, and I'm going to give you another example how you find out the real thing. They're going to tell you about another, a boxing fight between, let's say, Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, Madison Square Garden. Boom. And then in Madison Square Garden, if you remember, Joe Frazier knocked Muhammad Ali down, I think in the 14th round or 15th round, one of the two, the last round, I think, knocked him down, broke his jaw, and that was it. And let's say the article would read, well, it happened the same thing that happened to George Foreman when George Foreman was knocked down and didn't make the count. What? You didn't say that in the first article. Well, you said this related to the second article about a different bout, different fight, but you mentioned something you didn't mention in the first details. Now, a lot of things like this happened in this guy's articles, when they don't tell you what happened there, but then they tell you about something else, and they give you the information that, oh, so that's what's going on there, not what you said about that. So I'm writing an article about Muhammad Ali and Foreman, and I weasel it out. But when I write about Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, I tell you something about that you didn't tell me in the first place. This is a clear example, I think, right here. What do you know about Avdiivka? Right? Avdiivka obviously is a town where the Russians are fighting the NATO on Ukrainian side. Anyway, so over there there's fierce battle, against these two. It's in Donetsk Oblast. They're fighting, bam, 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 ram, pam, pam. Nobody knows what's going on. They say, well, fighting, nothing happens. Now, we have this article that is going to tell us exactly what happens, but not telling us about the fight. They are going to tell us about something else, but in this article they were going to tell us, actually, in Avdiivka, the Ukrainians cannot enter the town. They cannot. What does it mean if you cannot enter a town? That means that whatever troops you got in the town cannot get out, or anything cannot go in. That means you're surrounded, or at least you're blocked. But hey, don't trust me, trust these guys right here, because they are reporting and they are coming from Ukrainska Pravda. And please pay attention to words, which I said they have meaning. Special vehicles cannot enter Avdiivka due to Russian attacks. Alright, what does that mean? It means they cannot enter Avdiivka because the Russians are blowing them up. That means what? People remain trapped under rubble. So probably a lot of people are shelled in Avdiivka, and these guys cannot. Now, if the special vehicles cannot come to help these people, poor people trapped under rubble, that means the military cannot come either for the same reason, due to Russian attacks. So let's see. Emergency workers cannot pull people out from under the rubble. So remember, this article is written actually about emergency workers who try to get these guys out from the rubble in the city of Avdiivka. And because the Russians are evil, they can't. But they forget that they disclose this. They cannot enter because of the evil Russians. If you read articles about Avdiivka, oh no, the fight is fierce and we're balanced, nobody's winning. But here, they give me a different story. Or at least give me more details that they were not supposed to. Idiots. There you have them. So emergency workers cannot pull people out from under the rubble in the city of Avdiivka in Donetsk Oblast because they need special vehicles to clear the debris. But emergency workers cannot enter the city because of the Russian attacks. So this is all meant to tell us how bad the Russians are. But in the meantime, they tell us that the city is under the Russian control because they can't enter it. They get blown up. And the source, Vitaly Barbash, head of the Avdiivka city military administration, in an interview with Ukrainian public broadcaster Hromadske. Barabash said on 81-year-old woman, tralala, again, here is the same to tell us how evil the Russians are. So this guy said an 81-year-old woman has been trapped under the rubble since February 22nd, February 22nd, Jesus Christ. Miss 81-year-old forever. So, since Friday 28th of February, at that time, Russian troops hit a 5-story building and the woman was in the basement. So, on the 28th, the Russians hit that. A 61-year-old was trapped under the rubble due to airstrikes on April 30th. Again, I didn't know that actually these guys were able to blow these guys up, airstrike. Remember in the airstrike? The airstrike supposedly had 23 missiles, out of which supposedly 21 were shot down by the Ukrainians. That means 2 missiles. And those 2 missiles hit about 8 targets already. Just look over them. And it seems like they hit Avdiivka as well. Because it's the airstrike. Now I don't know if the airstrike, those 2 Tupolev 95s from the Caspian Sea, that's what is airstrike. But maybe it's a different one. So let them slide about this one. Because I'm gonna give it to them. He was a utility worker, particularly a power engineer. Okay, unfortunately, and I'm quoting, there is no sign of life in either case, Barabash said. He said a phone and a jacket were found, tralala. We worked with the state emergency services and the head of the oblast on Saturday, 29th April to figure out how to do it. And the state emergency services rushed out. But before reaching Avdiivka, they came under fire and returned. It is impossible to enter the city. What does that mean to you, my friends? I mean, hater, lovers, or neutral? What does that mean? They returned. They came under fire. It's impossible to enter the city. This is regarding to Mr. Barbash, whatever his name is. Where are you? Barbash. Barabash. Hey, Barbash. Hey, Barbash. Vitaly Barbash told us this. Okay, so here you have it. It's impossible to enter the city. That means it's under the Russian control, okay? So next time when you hear Avdiivka, remember this one. On April 30th, Avdiivka came under fire several times with hits to the residential area in the territory of Avdiivka cocaine or Coca-Cola, and chemical plant. The attack of the neighboring cities of Marinka and Krasnohorivka has been recorded. 3 people have been injured in the city of Bakhmut. 3 people? Houses in the settlements of Toretsk and Vastyukivka have been damaged. Okay, my friends, I think this should do it to draw the conclusion that Avdiivka is surrounded and only who the Russians decide come in or go out. That means whomever is fighting in the city of Avdiivka are trapped. Okay? Now, if you don't believe me, then give a different meaning to this. Find euphemisms and read between the lines. Whatever you want to do, my friends. This is very clear and this is idiotic. Why? Because it comes from the Ukrainians. And it comes from them. It's their reporting. It's not the Russians saying this. It's the Ukrainians. If you put this together with probably an article, I will make an update of the front, Ukrainian front, maybe after this or the next one. And over there you're going to have Avdiivka, fierce fighting occurred in the city, and it's Really? If you add this to that, you would change the whole reporting. But hey, they are talking about Muhammad Ali and what's his name? Foreman, George Foreman now. They're not talking about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, okay? So they give you that. Oh no, we're fighting. We're almost equal. Talk about this. Oh no, actually the guy knocked the other guy down and he didn't make it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You know what I mean, right? The rope-a-dope at that time. That's how he came with just defending and letting George Foreman exhaust himself. But hey, that's how it is. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.